Hey, I'm Victor Lucas. This is Johnny Millennium. You are watching Film Fury, and we're going to talk about Spider-Man Homecoming. But first, we have to thank our partners at the VFS School of Film.
So where were you last week? You left me all alone to do this review.
I wasn't answering your text.
He wasn't answering my text. Everybody thought that we were arguing with each other, that we had some disagreement because I was seeing Spider-Man, and then the next day you see Despicable Me without me.
I know.
You just screwed everybody up. Everybody thought we were having problems.
It was my daughter's graduation from daycare, and I could not miss that, even though the call of Peter Parker and the Spider-Man movie was very strong, and I really was envious that you guys were there. I had a great time with my kid. Yeah. But now I have seen this movie. It took me a week of just anticipation, of nail biting, of like, oh my God, because you guys all loved it so much. And
we did like it, yeah.
You liked it, and the Bear and Blake
loved it, yeah.
The guys that I work with, and Blake doesn't like anything, and so when he
liked
it,
when we're in the theater, he goes, I liked it. I'm like, what? You liked it? You hate everything. He hates The Force Awakens.
And my expectations were already high, and now they were through the roof. And now I've seen this movie, and I really did love it. I did think that it was an amazing collection of talents, and I think it really has a lot to do with Tom Holland, who is an absolute megastar after this, starting right now. He is fantastic.
He is
as Peter Parker and as Spider-Man.
As a really young kid, he's perfect. I mean, he's got everything. He's got the innocence, he's got the heroics, you know, and it's a story about a kid in high school. That's what this is really about.
Well, and he carries himself with, it reminded me, I had this flashback to my, you're not even gonna remember the show, The Greatest American Hero.
What are you talking about? I grew up with that, man.
I used to love that show.
I love that show.
And this movie embodied so many moments of that, you know, the hero failing. And we saw some really good bits with Tobey Maguire and his origin story where he was kind of learning how to do things. He did a great job. Sam Raimi did a great job with that. But this is another level. This was almost like a John Hughes movie in some places, like The Breakfast Club or Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which they actually reference very smartly in this movie. But John Watts, who's the director here, he comes from an indie filmmaking background, another perfect choice. Mark Webb, I think, was a pretty interesting choice with the—
no pun intended.
With the Amazing Spider-Man movies. He directed those, but I think he got sandwiched behind effects and too many characters, and it got too insane. This was a very down-to-earth, accessible, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and it was exactly what the franchise needed, and exactly who Spider-Man is, especially as we're getting to know the character. It was perfect.
I know, it's all about the innocence of the character, a daily struggle in high school, what every kid deals with, but yet he has another element. He's goddamn Spider-Man.
Yes.
But not only that, he's just trying to come to terms with his suit, come to terms with his father figure, which is Tony Stark in this, and I love those moments with those guys. That was really nice.
I really did too, and I love the anxiousness that he had to be Spider-Man, because once he's had that taste, it's the only thing he wants to do. He wants to be the hero, and he keeps looking at video of his heroics, and he flashes back to the memories of, you know, fighting Captain America and stuff in Captain America Civil War, and he keeps referencing his own
look how cool I was, look how awesome I was, and we really feel that as the audience.
Well, it makes perfect sense, right? It's almost like a high school quarterback who is just in love with their own abilities and their own, you know, capabilities, and he feels kind of sidelined by Tony Stark. And what surprised me about this is that I did like the moments with Robert Downey Jr., but I was expecting, through all the marketing and all the hype, that this was going to be almost
having a bigger role.
Yeah, like a 2-in-1, and he really pops in almost Stan Lee-like with these little cameo quips that flash by very quickly. And we are going to get into some spoiler, territory.
This is a spoiler review. We're getting into that right now.
So if you don't want to watch anything about the spoilers, you know, you can pause and come back to this later. But I was a bit surprised how much happy Jon Favreau is in this. You know, I like that character, but I feel like they leaned on him too much, and it's like, it's almost like the movie couldn't afford Robert Downey Jr. enough.
Yes.
You know, like there's even a sequence where the robot comes and saves the day or helps Spider-Man, and he's not in the robot. It's just his voice. He's like literally phoning it in, and I don't know if that's like a meta joke from the filmmakers to tell us what's going on with RDJ's kind of commitment to this thing, but it was pretty cool, you know?
Yeah, I think we're going to see that more and more in the future, that he's going to be in less and less and less, and paid more and more and more money. I think we're going to go in that direction.
Well, it was a bit of a shock, but it was I felt like they could have done more with that role and that performance and that relationship that was building.
Yeah.
I also felt that it was a little weird to, you know, constantly reference Marissa Tomei as this hot aunt.
I know, it's kind of weird.
And
she's always going to be the older woman to me, always.
Always, but the way that they dress her and the way that they made her look in the movie, she's always got these little beady eye glasses on and these weird outfits.
I didn't buy her character too much.
And I love this actor, though. I think she's
great
fantastic.
in other things, and this is like
Marissa Tomei's just not kind of used properly. I've actually preferred previous Aunt May's, and that relationship is a key core dynamic.
Of course it is.
In this Peter Parker Spider-Man saga. So I thought that was a bit of a squandered opportunity. And honestly, I'm nitpicking here, okay? Because generally I love this movie, and genuinely I love this movie. But the Ned stuff too got on my nerves a little bit too much. The Spider-Man's buddy, who was just a little overt and too obvious. And the performer's solid, but they let the director, I think, let him get away with too many shades of goofiness.
I think the thing that bothered me the most in this movie, and I'm glad I can speak about in story, spoiler mode here. Michael Keaton was a bit of a letdown. And I'm not talking about his acting performance.
Okay.
I just thought he was a dull villain.
Right,
He's so one-dimensional. He gets some alien technology, he cashes in on it, and he just keeps on cashing in on it.
I love that story. But
okay.
I know what you're talking about with the way that they did the effects of the Vulture. Because by this point in the Marvel Universe and in all the Spider-Man movies that we've seen, like Doc Ock kills this guy, you know, and that performance, and Spider-Man 2, I think is still, in my estimation, still a better Spider-Man film because of all of the chaos and action.
There's a lot of stuff going on in that.
The intensity and the fear for Aunt May, and it was amazing. And not to take anything away from this movie, but I totally get what you're saying about the Vulture feeling a little less.
It's a robot suit he gets in.
Yeah,
and
it's cool though. I like it.
It's okay. It's not that great. I've seen it 1,000 times before.
It reminded me a little bit of Whiplash. You know, from Iron Man 2. That same kind of thing.
That's what I was gonna say. It's just like an Iron Man character when you really think about it. It's just another bodysuit. The one thing, and here's a major spoiler, even though we're in spoilers, when he went to the door and Michael Keaton answered,
that was amazing.
I didn't. Did you see that coming?
No, and you know what? That's kind of right in the wheelhouse. I mean, for most of this movie, I felt like I was watching a comic book.
Oh,
and
definitely.
That is amazing. That is such a...
It's a compliment.
Totally, and that's such an accomplishment, you know, to bring the Sony-owned property into the Marvel Universe so seamlessly, and to make it feel like you're flipping through pages of an Amazing Spider-Man or Spectacular Spider-Man comic book as you're watching it. Brilliant, you know, and there was so many cool allusions to, you know, hit songs from the past, and the styles were kind of timeless and very John Hughesian, very much like this could have been like, and almost the effects too felt so. There's certainly a lot of CGI and stuff like that, but a lot of the effects felt very grounded and rooted in reality, and felt almost like it was out of the 80s, which was kind of rad, you know, like no pun intended with that.
I thought the movie was going a certain direction, but when we went the Michael Keaton thing, we went in a whole other direction, and I liked the movie more at that point. I like that stuff. When they started getting into the mindless action of the Vulture, you know, going around.
I saw your review. I know that bored you.
No, it didn't bore me, but we've seen that so much. I enjoyed Peter Parker as the innocent kid in high school, avoiding things, trying to date the girl.
But
the action was okay.
That we have to have action.
We have to have action.
And I think the action that's rooted in this, or the action that's, you know, delivered in this movie, is pretty much rooted in the physical reality that we know of with Spider-Man. It doesn't go into some crazy esoteric CG craziness. You know, it's obviously they're using
CG effects. the suit looks CG at times.
But it's not that insane, you know. And I like that it's kind of down home a bit, and even when it gets an escalation, then we've got Vulture trying to steal a plane.
Yeah, but that's my problem. He's so one-dimensional.
It's not that big, though. It doesn't go as big as Ironmonger.
Pretty big, man.
It doesn't go as like a 4-foot Sandman or 40-foot Sandman
stealth fighter that's invisible in the sky and flames going down. And Michael Keaton has to get this alien technology.
You know what?
He can't. He's got enough money. Why does he need this? It doesn't make any sense. It's over the top.
Well, none of these villains ever make sense.
I know.
Yeah, he is just driven by trying to make as much moolah as he can. He's got a big chip on his shoulder.
And he gets all of that.
I did like Bokeem Woodbine as the Shocker. I thought that was pretty rad. And the Donald Glover reference, and this is a huge spoiler, to Miles Morales. He drops a little hint. He's actually, he plays Miles Morales' uncle in this movie. And that's a huge spoiler. We don't get to see Miles. Miles is a new Spider-Man in the Marvel Universe.
Is that, okay.
And so now he's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's been referenced. So there's a potential future for Miles Morales in this whole universe.
So he's not Scarlet. He doesn't play Scarlet.
No, he's a different Spider-Man. He's like the ultimate Spider-Man.
So I was doing some research today on all the different Spider-Mans through the years. There's There's like 30 different Spider-Mans.
I know,
man. It's like
I know.
ridiculous.
And they actually had lots of cool Tony Stark tech for potential new suits and directions that you could go in. Lots of great little Easter eggs.
There is.
The Captain America Easter eggs and things like that that are in here are hilarious, and the end credit stuff is definitely worth waiting for and checking out.
Yeah.
I was surprised we didn't see more of the Marvel heroes. They're referenced a lot. We see them sort of from a a crazy
probably a licensing point of view.
No. They had the rights to do everything.
Well, I think they wanted to keep it on Spider-Man. Really,
I think
this is our character.
They didn't want to
make
another Civil War movie. They had everybody in that movie, and this was an important movie to kind of set up this new foundation for Tom Holland. He's incredible.
He owns it. He gets it.
They got to do more with Aunt May next time. I can't wait for more.
We want to see more dating for her and stuff like that. An entire episode of her dating Tony Stark or something.
I like our new MJ quite a bit. I think she's fantastic in this movie.
Great.
She's always
really
got great lines. There's a lot of humor in this. You know?
I was laughing quite a lot.
Martin Starr plays one of the teachers, and he's got such great
he's
great
good.
lines.
He's really nice. Yeah.
Really cool stuff. And the action stuff that isn't a big boss fight, you have to admit, was thrilling. You know, like
it was fun.
when he's rescuing people in elevators and climbing up the side of the Washington Monument.
Stuff better.
So cool.
But when he's bringing the supervillain, he's just blowing up shit and flying in the air. It's like, we've done this before. But I get it. You got to have that in a superhero movie. Yeah, 100%.
No, I love that. I even love the credit sequence at the end where it's all just like written in a school book, kind of graffiti and scribbles and stuff like that.
It's fun. Yeah, they're having fun. They're laughing at themselves. It's a good superhero movie.
Yeah, it's a good superhero movie, and it's a good teen Peter Parker drama, and what a way to set this all up and to integrate him into the Marvel Universe. Amazing.
Well, I'm going to be the one who's going to ask this, because everybody already knows my score.
Yes.
I gave it an 8 out of 10 last week.
Yep.
What are you going to give Spider-Man Homecoming?
This is awesome. You guys got to see it. 9 out of 10. Very, very cool stuff from the Marvel Universe.
I knew you were going to love this.
And you know what? A cool thing happened in the screening that I was in. There were lots of visual effects artists that actually worked on the movie, and they all cheered when their names came up in the credits. If you want to learn how to make cool movies like Spider-Man Homecoming, you could do that at the VFS School of Film. Go to VFS.edu for more info.
I was a graduate, class 21.